Today I'm going to teach you the immutable law of persuasion. My name is Kirk K. Barbera, and this is your business book tip of the day. Stick around. Hello everybody. This immutable law of persuasion is always in play when you're trying to convince someone else of doing something for you. So, for example, when I was in sales at Cutco Cutlery, I would sell people, and one of the things I noticed was that when I was working with convincing them of something, the most important thing in that worked was actually when I helped them convince themselves. And that's all a salesman or any type of persuader can do, is help a person convince themselves. And there's a lot to this, but the book, The Art of Using Strategic Persuasion to Sell Your Ideas, is about how to move people down that line, down that psychological line of persuading themselves. Because the immutable law of persuasion is that you cannot force persuasion. Now, to be clear, you can force someone to do something. So I can put a gun to your head and force you to take an action, to give me your wallet, to go to the bank and give me money, or to whatever, give me your car. I can force you to do these things. I can even force you, if I'm a Nazi Germany, I can force you to go to work, right, and do certain things that you may not want to because you're scared for your life. But you are not persuaded that that is the right thing to do and that you want to do that. And that's the difference between force and persuasion. And the law of persuasion is that you cannot force it, because we're dealing with people believing in it themselves. Think of it this way: you cannot force someone to believe that 2 + 2 is 5 with a gun. Now, maybe with some there's mathematicians who've tried this actually with some fancy theories and weird things. You can actually try to convince someone theoretically to believe in 2 + 2 is 5. But the point is that when someone wants to, buy a car or something, you are actually you need to convince them that they want to buy that car, and they have to do it internally. So this is from the note card from The Art of Woo, and the whole point of The Art of Woo is that it represents a step-by-step movement from you and your ideas toward your audience and its needs. When you succeed, your audience stop being the other. They stop being someone outside of yourself, and they start being your partner in persuasion. That's because when relationships matter, you cannot force anyone to accept anything you say. You can only help people to persuade themselves. And this law is vital. It is vital. For instance, another example is when I was selling Cutco, one of the things I saw all the time is that when I sold someone a set of $1,000 knives, I wasn't just convincing that individual, I was giving that person the material, the information material, the words that they would convince themselves. And here's another thing, that the same words that they would convince other people. So there's techniques that you need to use and learn in rhetoric and persuasion that's very important in making sure that the words you're saying are actually sinking into the person's head, and that they are actively engaged with those words. Because when I sell someone a $1,000 set of knives, and they go to work the next day around the water cooler, they're at a cocktail party on Friday night or something, and someone talks about the knives that they just bought, and they say, and my customer says, yeah, I just got these knives, they're beautiful knives. I'm like, oh cool, how much do they cost? And the person says $1,000. The look on their friend's face is like, what? That's crazy for a set of knives. And if I didn't do a good job as the salesperson giving that client the material, the informational persuasion material, to then spit out the right words to their friend that would convince their friend, then I would often get a return on that product. That person would say, I think I made a mistake. I don't think this is the right product for me. And they would ask for a return, get their money back. And that's because I failed to help them persuade themselves and their friends. Like all those things are combined. And how you do that is a challenge, and it's part this, what this book talks about, and it's what the art of persuasion is all about. So that's your business book tip of the day. My name is Kirk Double K Barbera. And remember, reading is not a passive sport. It's an active, it's a contact sport. So go out there, make some contact.